do so many different things. You write, you act, you did stand up, also so many things. What is it that makes you want to do all of them?
Well, writing is the basis of it all because then you're creating something that didn't exist before. It's like taking a canvas and an empty canvas, and I have a lot of artists in my family. My son Lucas is a very fine and successful fine artist, but his mother was. His mother was a wonderful artist. So that is a wonderful thing, to make something out of nothing. You got an empty page, you got an idea, and then you start typing, and that is the most thrilling thing of all. And then if it becomes a movie or something else, that's a just a plus. But the original writing of it is what's very exciting.
So you see it as an extension of writing. So everything else is just...
It's an extension of my performing. I used to perform and make people laugh. Now when I found out I could write, I was shocked. I didn't know I could write.
How did you find out you could write?
Yeah, well, that was really funny. And when we moved to New Rochelle, my wife and I had a basement, and I had my old typewriter. I was a teletype operator in the Army. So I learned to type in the Army, and one day I went downstairs to see if I could still type. I hadn't typed for about 4 or 5 years after the war. And so I typed out a page, and I showed it to my wife, and she said, "Where'd you get this?" I said, "I wrote it." "You wrote this?" It was something very funny. I went and wrote another page, another couple pages, and by the time I was finished, I had 13 little short stories, humorous short stories. I sent them to a friend of mine. I gave them to a friend of mine who lived in New Rochelle, who was a textile manufacturer. His name was Julian Rochelle. Funny, he lived in New Rochelle. And he gave it to a friend to read, and at a party I met his friend. He said, "I loved your stories, you want to have lunch with me?" And I said to Julian, I was on the Show of Shows at the time, and I was a performer. I said, "Do I have to have lunch with this guy?" He says, "Yeah." He said, "Why wouldn't you?" I said, "Well," and he told me he was in pocketbooks, and my friend was a textile manufacturer. I figured he bought material for his pocketbooks, the linings. He said, No, not those pocketbooks. Simon & Schuster pocketbooks." So I met with him, and he said, he said, "The short stories are wonderful, but short stories don't sell as well as a novel. Why don't you write a novel?" I said, "I don't." And I said to my wife, "He wants me to write a novel. I only went to Georgetown for 1 year. I don't have enough words." And she said, "You have feelings." And I sat down and wrote it in Fire Island. I wrote Enter Laughing, my first autobiographic novel. It started very early in my life. I was able to tell jokes I heard on the radio and embellish them. And then when I found Mel and asked him a question, I got the answers I did. I became his straight man, and I laughed. Sometimes I had to turn away from the mic because I didn't want my laughter to intrude in the recording. As a matter of fact, in the Army, when I used to do a stand-up act in the rec halls, just to keep I was an actor, and I didn't have a stand-up act, but I figured you can't put a play on, so what is this?
No, keep going.
Oh.
Keep going. I'm just going to set that for you.
Oh, yeah. So I started entertaining, and one day I came to a rec hall, and there was another guy entertaining, a guy named Louis Nye. I don't remember if you remember him. He was on a lot of variety shows, a very, very funny guy. And so we teamed up, and we didn't team up. I just got up and started asking him questions. And I asked, after the war, I used to go to parties, and I asked Louis Nye questions. He would, hysterical. So before Mel Brooks, there was a guy almost as funny, no, not quite as funny as Mel Brooks, but funny enough. And that was, I'm a natural straight man. I love being an MC, which is here, look at this. As a matter of fact, we talked about it the other day. I get more pleasure out of saying, go see something, and somebody sees it and say, wow, thank you. There's a movie I bought because I loved it so much called Random Harvest with Greer Garson and Ronald Colman. It is one of the best movies ever made, and I watch people who've seen it for the first time. At the end of the movie, you're teary but smiling. It's amazing, amazing movie. I commend it to you. Ask, you can get a DVD of it. Random Harvest. Do not miss it.
I will look it up.
You'll forget.
No, I
don't worry.
won't. It's
Oh, you have it
recorded. That's
recorded.
why I won't forget. That's why it's great to record things.
Here's some
Okay.
of my early tweets.
This is the first tweet.
Uh,
Read your first tweet,
He
Carl.
who speaks with forked tongue should immediately go to the nearest emergency room. If you're ever forced to eat crow, skip breakfast. Don't let anyone bully you unless they're a licensed bully. For God's sake, I wish people would stop saying for God's sake. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Less breakage using corrugated containers. Pity the poor wretch who retches up an expensive meal. A penny earned is nothing to brag about. Put your money where your mouth is and risk a serious gum infection. I have a bunch of these. Put your money where your mouth is if you don't mind handling wet cash. Put your money where your mouth is and get a tenth the interest you would from a bank. But a tenth, you do get interest. I don't know what. Put your money where your mouth is when a burglar breaks into your home. Well, that's a good one. Don't let anyone put the wool over your eyes if you prefer nylon. I don't know.
See, so
Pretty.
The letters and lettuce, the words letters and letters sound alike, but the taste is so different. Wearing contact lenses will lessen your chances of dating a gargoyle. You cannot buy friendship for less than $100.
No, I sell mine for $0.25.
You do?
I have 50 cents in an IOU.
A know-it-all rarely knows more than 40% of it all, if that much. Okay. It's better to have loved and lost than to have been hated and found. Walk a mile in a man's shoes before making him an offer to buy them.
I like that.
Never sing for your supper before you taste it. Oh, no hero sandwich is a hero to other hero sandwiches made in the same deli. Okay, and I got a whole 2 pages full of these. Teach a man to fish and he'll never go hungry. Teach a man to shoot and he'll never have to fish. Okay, that's enough.